Azerbaijani armed forces hold large-scale exercises. Baku 2015 signs 5 major European broadcast deals.
President of Azerbaijan Ilham Aliyev and his spouse, chairperson of the Baku 2015 First European Games Organizing Committee, Mehriban Aliyeva, reviewed the ongoing work at the bus depot and the training center of Baku Bus LLC for the First European Games and at the Baku Sports Palace. President Aliyev was informed about the work carried out in the bus depot and training center. The president also reviewed the work carried out as part of a project on the complex restoration of Zug Lake. Then President Aliyev and his spouse Mehriban Aliyeva viewed Mercedes minibuses bought in order to carry high-ranking guests who will attend the First European Games. The president was also informed about the new Iveco buses of Baku Bus LLC. It was noted that at the initial stage, 302 French-made buses had been bought. Afterwards, President Aliyev and his wife Mehriban Aliyeva reviewed the progress of reconstruction at the Baku Sports Palace. The armed forces of Azerbaijan holds large-scale operational and technical exercises involving all types of troops, the Defense Ministry of Azerbaijan said. The exercises are being held in accordance with the order of Azerbaijani President, Supreme Commander-in-Chief of Azerbaijan Armed Forces Ilham Aliyev, under the leadership of the Defense Minister Colonel General Zakir Asanov and First Deputy Defense Minister, Chief of General Staff of Azerbaijan Armed Forces, Colonel General Necmettin Sadikov. The exercises involve 15,000 servicemen from personnel, up to 300 armed vehicles, over 200 missile and artillery troops installations, approximately 20 aircraft of the air forces, as well as air defense missile formations equipped with modern air defense complexes. In accordance with the order of the Supreme Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, up to 5,000 reserve forces and about 300 motorized vehicles are involved in the exercises in order to examine the level of fulfillment of the mobilization tasks by the formations and units.
Baku has hosted a conference on the theme Unique Model of Development of Azerbaijan and the Realities of the International Assessment of the Armenian Terror. Addressing the conference, Nusrat Ibrahimov, director of consulting company MBA Group and a member of the working group on the Armenian terror damage assessment, said that the group had evaluated the damage caused by Armenian terrorists in the aftermath of the Nagorno-Karabakh conflict. According to the outcomes of the evaluation in 1989-1993, as a result of the occupation of Nagorno-Karabakh and 7 administrative districts, historical and cultural monuments of Azerbaijan sustained damage worth $177 billion. Damage to the property of citizens was estimated at another 55.4 billion manats, Ibrahimov said. He added that the damage caused to the underground and overground natural resources in the territory of the occupied Nagorno-Karabakh is estimated at $190 billion. In other words, the total damage is estimated at $437.6 billion on the Azerbaijani side. The research was organized by the Azerbaijan Appraisers Society. Ibrahimov said that the amount of damage caused to Azerbaijan as a result of Armenia's continued aggression is growing every year. The conflict between the two South Caucasus countries emerged in 1988 when Armenia made territorial claims against Azerbaijan. As a result of the ensuing war, Armenian armed forces occupied 20% of Azerbaijan's territory, including the Nagorno-Karabakh region and 7 surrounding districts. The two countries signed a ceasefire agreement in 1994. The co-chairs of the OSCE Minsk Group, Russia, France and the United States, are mediating peace negotiations. Armenia has not yet implemented 4 UN Security Council resolutions on its pullout from Nagorno-Karabakh and the surrounding regions.
Some forces are trying to prevent the first European Games to be held in Azerbaijan. Speaker of the Azerbaijani Parliament, Oktay Asadov, said at a parliamentary session. Asadov said Azerbaijan will host the first Grand European Games. Member of the parliament Siyavush Novruzov also said some forces have already become active in Azerbaijan in connection with the European Games and seek to commit provocations in the country. Speaker Oktay Asadov has accused international organizations of negligence toward the genocides committed against Azerbaijanis. Parliamentarian Fazil Mustafa mentioned that the 100th anniversary of the so-called Armenian genocide is to be held this year, adding that Azerbaijan needs to take serious measures in this respect. Speaker Oktay Asadov noted that Azerbaijan is doing a lot in this area and always will. No one lent us a hand, but I don't think those persons will change their opinions if we invite them to Baku and make everything clear for them. Because international organizations are negligent toward the genocide acts Azerbaijanis have suffered. There is no point in expecting something from them. We have to solve our problems ourselves, he concluded. The speaker also commented on various remarks about Azerbaijan's voting in PACE against the sanctions imposed in Russia. He recalled Europe's attitude toward the Nagorno-Karabakh conflict to those who accused Azerbaijan in this regard. He said that Baku in all cases supports and will support the territorial integrity of Ukraine. However, we don't join the sanctions and are against it. We simply support dialogue instead of sanctions. Indeed, Europe offers us a dialogue instead of imposing sanctions on Armenia, he noted.
Azerbaijan's delegation to the Parliamentary Assembly of the Council of Europe always opposes double standards, and if sanctions against Russia are being raised today in the context of the Ukraine issue, similar steps should have been taken toward Armenia earlier, says MP Sevinch Fataliyeva, a member of the Azerbaijani delegation. Fataliyeva hopes that the new co-rapporteur of the PACE Monitoring Committee, Polish deputy Tadeusz Iwinski, who was appointed during the winter session, would foster something new in terms of studying the situation in Azerbaijan. According to the Azerbaijani lawmaker, the new co-rapporteur is an experienced enough politician who has served in PACE for decades and is well versed on the processes ongoing both in the assembly and in Azerbaijan. Fataliyeva therefore supposes that he will approach the issues concerning the country with sufficient prudence and deliver them to PACE without any bias. Fataliyeva stated that undoubtedly we frequently encounter biased attitude toward Azerbaijan, which shapes up on the basis of unfair sources, but she presumes that experience suggests the truth, and in this case, we would like to hope that the availability of an experienced co-rapporteur who is well versed on Azerbaijan would foster something positive to the report of the PACE Monitoring Committee. The Azerbaijani MP also believes that despite the appointment of the new co-rapporteur, Azerbaijan has long been ready to get out of monitoring. Moreover, the continuation of the monitoring could be considered as another manifestation of double standards. Fataliyeva noted that undoubtedly there are a number of Council of Europe countries where it is necessary to conduct monitoring, but it is not conducted, which is an indication of double standards and a biased attitude. Fataliyeva says that the PACE winter session was busy. During the sessions, lawmakers raised the issue regarding Dilgam Askarov and Shahbaz Guliyev, the Azerbaijanis who were trying to visit the graves of their relatives and were taken hostage by the invading Armenian regime in the occupied Kalbajar region of Azerbaijan. According to Fataliyeva, Azerbaijan raised the issue, calling on the European community to put pressure on the invader, Armenia, given that these actions do not comply with any international norms whatsoever.
Position of the Collective Security Treaty Organization on Karabakh conflict has been clearly stated. The bloc cannot react by using military means. CSTO Secretary General Nikolai Bordyuzha said in response to a question by Novosti Armenia agency. In 2014, the CSTO mentioned Karabakh conflict in one of its statements, including at the level of the Collective Security Council, Bordyuzha said. CSTO chief said he had visited the border, including some military units of the Armenian armed forces located on the border. The matter was also discussed with Armenian president. Bordyuzha specified that the problem was discussed with President Vladimir Putin and the leaders of Armenia and Azerbaijan in Sochi. So I think the response by the organization and heads of states was sufficient. It was very clearly stated by the ministers of foreign affairs and stated repeatedly, he emphasized. We talk about how we see further developments. We believe the problem should be addressed at a political level, and I think this is quite serious and weighty statements that reflect not only the opinion of the Russian Federation, Bordyuzha said.
German Chancellor Angela Merkel said in Budapest that Europe had to move on from high reliance on Russia for energy supplies. Hungary, like other countries including Germany, has a qualitatively very high dependency on Russian energy supplies. In this respect, we want accountability, fairness in trade too, obviously, and reliability. We will concentrate our efforts on these together. But at the same time, too, in European politics, we will make sure that we diversify our energy sources. In order to do this, Europe must build an energy market so that we have connections and interconnectors, common pipelines, reverse flow that can be carried out in different directions, she said at a news conference with Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban. According to her, an internal European market ultimately means that everyone can have access to all energy sources. Nabucco has now come to nothing. South Stream is uncertain. In this respect, Hungary obviously has a right. For example, if TAP is built, a line from Azerbaijan, that ways and means be found to allow Hungary to access these supplies. We also have the European structural funds for this, and possibilities for European investment. Germany will make an effort to ensure all the member states of the European Union will not be dependent on one energy source, Merkel added. The first gas from the Caspian Sea will be delivered to Europe via the 1000 gas corridor in 2019, European Commissioner for Energy Union Maros Sefcovic said earlier. Sefcovic said that ministers consider the possibility of simplifying political and bureaucratic procedures during the fulfillment of this energy project. He said Azerbaijan and Turkey have already confirmed their commitment to implementing projects within the 1000 gas corridor, including the Trans-Caspian gas project.
The role of Azerbaijan as an alternative supplier of gas to European markets grows, a Russia-based expert has concluded. Long-term projects that are being implemented within the framework of the Southern Gas Corridor are very important for Europe in terms of the fact that Azerbaijan will act as an independent supplier. Stanislav Prichin, research assistant of the Center for the Study of Central Asia and Caucasus of the Institute of Oriental Studies, Moscow, told Azerbaijan's Trend news agency. Prichin added that there will always be support for these projects at the level of the European Commission. Prichin said that Azerbaijan's energy policy is maximally aimed at the use of all available opportunities. Speaking about the Turkish Stream project proposed by Russia, the route of which has been recently defined by the gas giant Gazprom, Prichin said there are quite real chances for the increase of gas transportation to Turkey. The ground infrastructure in Russia has already been built. It received 4.6 billion euros, and in fact, all the design work on the underwater part is ready, said Prichin. Contracts for the supply of pipes have already been concluded, and everything is ready so that Turkey would receive the initial gas in the volume of 15 billion cubic meters as part of this project. There are more questions regarding further development of events and whether the EU and Gazprom will be able to find a common ground. According to Prichin, Gazprom's strategy envisages the creation of such infrastructure by 2020 in order to exclude Ukraine as a transit country, said Prichin. Prichin said the main consumers of Russian gas, which have signed the contract, are Eastern European countries bordering Ukraine. Here, the EU will need to create a certain infrastructure from Turkish borders to its member states, he added. Contract on the Azerbaijani gas to be produced within Stage 2 of development of Shah Deniz field has already been signed. Turkey will get 6 billion cubic meters, Prichin said. Azerbaijan and Russia carry out the supply within their own contracts.
Standard & Poor's now forecast that the oil price will decrease to $55 per barrel in 2015 and will modestly recover to an average $75 per barrel in 2016 to 2018. Standard & Poor's report on Azerbaijan's sovereign rating says. The rating agency says that over the long-term economic growth will be supported by gas production at new fields, which should compensate for stagnating oil production. In 2018, the major Shah Deniz 2 field, which will bring gas from Azerbaijan to Europe, is expected to come on stream. Gas will be transported via the Trans-Anatolian and Trans-Adriatic pipelines. A consortium of the State Oil Company of Azerbaijan Republic, International Oil and Gas Corporations, and the newly created 1000 Gas Corridor CGSC are planning to construct the pipelines over the coming years. It estimates that in 2015, Azerbaijan will be in a net asset position equivalent to about 51% of GDP. creation of a technical committee in charge of alternative energy sources is under development in energy-rich Azerbaijan. The State Committee on Standardization, Metrology and Patents is pushing forward the initiative. At present, the committee and the Azerbaijan State Agency on Alternative and Renewable Energy Sources are working together to establish the committee. The work is underway on the creation of a new technical committee. This process will be accomplished in near future, the State Committee said. Azerbaijan has started to develop alternative energy sources in recent years. To expand this sphere, the country has prepared a national strategy for the development of alternative and renewable energy sources up to 2020. Over $127 million has been invested from the public fund in the development of alternative and renewable energy sources in Azerbaijan. Most of the country's capacities in this area fall on solar energy, and the capacity is estimated at 5,000 megawatts. Some 4,500 megawatt fall on wind energy, biomass 1,500 megawatt, geothermal energy 800 megawatts, while the remaining 350 megawatt is a potential for small hydropower plants. The total capacity of alternative and renewable energy sources in Azerbaijan exceeds 12,000 megawatts. Currently, the share of alternative energy sources in Azerbaijan is less than 1% and accounts for small hydropower plants. The share of alternative energy sources is planned to increase to 20% of the total volume of energy consumption in Azerbaijan by 2020, which requires $8.9 billion of investment. The country has created favorable conditions for the development of this new field for Azerbaijan. The government plans to build up to 100 objects for alternative energy in the next 5 years. Baku 2015 European Games signed contracts to ensure the inaugural event will be broadcast in Spain, Portugal, Estonia, Latvia and Slovenia. The new deals with public broadcasters RTVE Spain, ERR Estonia, LTV Latvia, RTV Slovenia and subscription-based Sport TV Portugal all include daily coverage commitments or a minimum number of sport competition hours to be screened during the games. Baku 2015 now has agreements in place to allow over 1 billion viewers worldwide to follow the event. In addition to providing extended competition coverage throughout the games, Spain's RTVE will screen the opening and closing ceremonies live. The network will also air a series of Road to Baku programs focusing on preparations for Baku 2015, while Sport TV will cover the games on a dedicated 24-hour channel to be broadcast in their home market of Portugal, as well as in Mozambique and Angola. Baku 2015 is the first ever European Games, an exciting and innovative multi-sport event for the continent, which will take place from 12th to 28th June 2015. There will be a total of 20 sports at Baku 2015, 16 Olympic sports and 4 non-Olympic sports. More than 6,000 athletes from across Europe will be representing their nations over 17 days of competition.